You ever feel like you're stuck in a movie playing a part you didn't even audition for? Living out a story that was written long, long before you ever showed up? Well, today, we're going to dig into the psychology of why changing our own path can feel like we're literally fighting against history itself. We're going to press pause on that old film reel and figure out how to write a brand new scene. So you make a decision, right? A real conscious choice to be different, maybe healthier, a better communicator, to not repeat the same mistakes you saw growing up. But then you feel it. This invisible, powerful current that just pulls you right back into those old, familiar patterns. It's this force that seems to fight you on every single move you make toward a different future. So what is that force? Let's give it a name. Let's call it the unseen resistance. Because here's the thing. To overcome it, you first have to be able to see it. It all starts with something simple. You tell yourself, okay, I'm not going to raise my voice when I get frustrated, or I'm going to be open with my feelings instead of just shutting down. You've got this whole new script ready to go in your head. Or hey, maybe it's even more direct. You finally say no to something you'd usually say yes to out of obligation. You draw that line in the sand to protect your own sanity. And for a moment, it feels amazing, right? And then, bam, the pushback hits. And what's wild is it's not just from other people. It's coming from inside you, too. It feels unnatural, difficult, almost wrong. And the pressure to just snap back into the old role, the old dynamic, it is intense, and honestly, it's deeply confusing. And here it is. This is the key insight. That friction you're feeling, that is not a personal failure. It's not you being weak. It's the system, the entire family dynamic, trying to maintain its balance. It's just trying to pull you back into your old familiar spot. So let's pull back the curtain on this system and take a look at the family's default setting, because it actually has a name, and I'm telling you, understanding it is a total game changer. The term is homeostasis. Now, the easiest way to think about it is like a thermostat. A family system is programmed to keep the emotional temperature exactly the same, always. So if you try to turn up the heat by introducing more warmth and honesty, or maybe cool things down by setting a new boundary, the system kicks in to restore the original setting. And here's the kicker. It does this even if that original setting is completely unhealthy. And this right here really gets to the heart of the conflict. The system isn't evil. It's just programmed for one thing and one thing only: sameness. It wants to keep what it knows no matter how messy it is. But you, the person trying to break the cycle, you're reaching for health, for growth. And to that old system, any new growth looks like a threat.
But why? Why does the system even have this default setting? Well, the answer lies in the echoes of the past, in the emotional blueprints we all inherit without even realizing it.
This brings us to a huge concept: intergenerational trauma. It's the idea that family patterns, our coping mechanisms, our fears, our unspoken rules are literally inherited. They're the emotional echoes of things our parents, grandparents, and even great-grandparents lived through. Think about how this works. Let's say Generation 1 experiences a real survival trauma, like poverty. They develop coping skills based on scarcity and fear. Now, Generation 2 doesn't experience the poverty itself, but they absorb all that anxiety and those behaviors from their parents. So by the time it gets down to Generation 3, to you might just inherit the system, that feeling that the other shoe is always about to drop, without ever knowing the original reason why.
But here is the most important part of this whole thing. This isn't about blame. It's about empowerment. Because once you can see the original blueprint, you finally have the power to draw your own. This is how you start to forge a new path.
And the key to doing this is a concept called differentiation of self. Now, this isn't about cutting your family off. It's the complete opposite. It's about developing an identity that's so strong, so uniquely you, that you can stay connected to them without getting pulled back into the old dance, into the old system. So what does this look like in real life? It's learning to pause and respond thoughtfully instead of just having that knee-jerk emotional reaction. It's holding on to your values even when the whole system is pressuring you to conform. And it's finding a way to love your family, to stay in a relationship with them without losing yourself in their emotional chaos. This is the work. It's nothing less than a psychological rebirth. Because ultimately, when you do this work, when you face that resistance and choose health over sameness, you're doing something truly profound. You're not just creating a better future for yourself and for those who come after you. You are, in a very real way, reaching back and offering healing to the generations that came before you. So the question that's left for all of us to really think about is this one. What pattern, what echo, what story ends